Welcome to The Explainer. So glad you're joining me because today we are unpacking something that's honestly a little mind-blowing. We're going to look at exactly how the most successful blockchain projects out there manage to scale to absolutely massive levels, and they do it without spending a single dime on traditional advertising.
Okay, let's dive right into this. $1 trillion. Just think about that scale for a second. How on earth does a platform like Uniswap hit $1 trillion in trading volume with $0 spent on paid ads? I mean, it completely shatters every single rule of traditional marketing, doesn't it? Here's our roadmap for the definitive zero-ad growth stack. First, the ad apocalypse. Second, cultivating your true fans. Third, incentives and airdrops. Fourth, memes and the new influencers. And finally, surviving the cliff.
All right, Section 1, the apocalypse. To really grasp the genius of Web3 marketing, we first have to understand exactly why traditional paid ads are completely dead in this space. It's a pretty wild history. Back in 2018, giants like Facebook, Google, and Twitter just outright banned crypto ads. This was mostly a reaction to all those widespread ICO scams. Then, fast forward to 2021, and Apple's App Tracking Transparency update rolls out. That completely killed the ability to track your return on ad spend. And because of that, customer acquisition costs absolutely skyrocketed to over $300 a user. And if that wasn't painful enough, by 2023, the SEC started cracking down hard. Treating tokens like securities brings on massive legal risks. I mean, just ask Kim Kardashian. She paid a $1.26 million fine for a single Ethereum Max post. So the old way, it's broken, it's insanely expensive, and it is legally perilous. And what's really interesting here is the fundamental difference in tracking. In Web 2, you had pixels, emails, highly specific retargeting. It was precise, right? But in Web 3, users are just anonymous wallets. Targeting is completely broken, because one human can easily masquerade as 100 different anonymous wallets just to farm airdrops. So your analytics dashboard might proudly say, hey, we have 10,000 new users, but in reality, you might only have 200 actual human beings clicking around.
Because of this whole messy history of scams and broken tracking, crypto natives view traditional paid banner ads as a massive red flag. It's a scam signal. So we arrive at this golden rule. In Web3, marketing budget equals token allocation. The new paradigm basically requires projects to completely ditch paying Meta or Google. Instead, you take that marketing budget and give it directly to your users via tokens. By doing this, the users themselves actually become your most passionate marketers.
Moving on to Section 2, cultivating your true fans.
So we're moving from the problem of banned ads to the very foundation of the Web3 solution, which is, of course, community. Forget trying to chase 1 million casual followers. In Web3, the math changes entirely. If you have just 100 true fans, people who use your product every single week, and they each bring in 10 referrals, combined with the value of your own token, you can easily build a $10 million protocol. Your whole strategy should be to build in public, show your daily progress, and focus hyper-obsessively on securing just 100 engaged users who will actively defend and promote what you're building.
And this brilliantly illustrates how you cultivate those fans. It's a ladder of engagement. Someone starts as a stranger. Maybe they see a tweet. Then they step up and become a user, trying out a testnet, then a member, getting a specific role, a contributor writing documentation, and finally an owner, governing the protocol itself. Your job as a builder is to carefully, meticulously remove the friction at every single step of this ladder so they just naturally keep climbing.
But hey, a quick warning for all you builders out there, beware the Discord trap. It sounds amazing to boast to your investors about having 50,000 Discord members, right? Until you realize that 47,000 of them are just bots endlessly spamming when token. Trust me, you do not want to be one of those poor Discord mods fighting armies of bots at 2 a.m. for free. It's a nightmare. The absolute smartest builders actually keep their communities incredibly small, maybe just a Telegram chat of 50 to 200 people, and they use token gating to filter out all the noise until they actually achieve true product market fit.
Which brings us to Section 3, incentives and airdrops.
Now that we have our core fans, how do we actually replace those traditional marketing budgets at a massive scale? Well, we do it with smart, Sybil-resistant incentives. Let's compare two different approaches here. On one hand, you have a bad quest, asking users to just follow and retweet. It costs the user absolutely $0, which means 10,000 bots are going to instantly exploit it. On the other hand, a good quest, asking users to actually swap on a testnet or provide liquidity. This costs real time and actual gas money. The ultimate metric for a successful incentive campaign is making the cost of farming greater than the reward itself. If a bot's return on investment is negative, the bots stay away. Simple as that. And you get real, educated users.
And when it comes to those highly anticipated airdrops, there are 5 absolute rules you have to follow. First, they must be retroactive to reward past, genuine usage. Second, they should be tiered to cap the whales from just swooping in and taking everything. Third, you absolutely must use a Sybil filter. Fourth, tokens need to be vested to stop an immediate, brutal dump on the market. And fifth, there has to be utility on day one, like staking or voting. Arbitrum followed this playbook beautifully, by the way. They used a Sybil filter to ban massive wallet clusters, and it literally saved them an incredible $500 million. Just massive.
All right, Section 4. Memes and the new influencers.
Let's talk about the real megaphone of Web3 marketing. How do you go viral and get massive distribution without, going to jail? First, we need to define the new influencer, the KOL, or Key Opinion Leader. In the crypto space, this is usually an anonymous Twitter user with a highly dedicated following. But here is the secret sauce. A micro KOL with just 5,000 hardcore developer followers is infinitely more valuable to your project than some mega influencer with 500,000 bot followers who couldn't care less about your underlying tech.
So the crucial point here is how you actually engage them. The old Web2 influencers wanted upfront cash, they would routinely dump tokens on their followers, and honestly, they brought massive SEC risks to the project. True Web3 projects never pay upfront cash to KOLs. Instead, they provide zero cash payment, but they offer 4-year vested tokens. This is brilliant because it perfectly aligns long-term incentives. They advocate for you because they actually own a piece of the network, and they're locked in for the long haul.
But to make those KOLs truly effective, you have to control the story through narrative design. You want them saying something like, "We are the blank of blank." For instance, Chainlink effectively completely owned the word Oracle. But as you design this narrative, I cannot stress this enough, remember those strict SEC-safe rules. You must market purely through education. Never talk about the token price, never promise a 100x return, and definitely never say things like, "This is a safe investment." You market facts and you market utility. That's it.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, Surviving the Cliff.
So, we've built the community, we've run a bulletproof Sybil-resistant airdrop, and we've totally controlled our narrative. Now we face the harsh reality check of what happens after the initial hype completely dies down. 95%. That is the staggering percentage of users who will completely abandon your project in month 2 if your token was the absolute only utility you had to offer. When the airdrop farmers finally get their tokens, they leave immediately because there's no actual real product keeping them around.
Real, sustainable success relies entirely on the product itself. Take Uniswap, for example. It's fascinating. 80% of Uniswap users are literally just there to swap assets. They don't even hold the Uni token. Only 20% are actual token holders. Yet, because the product itself is just so incredibly useful, the protocol generates $2 million a day in fees. The product, absolutely, without a doubt, must come first.
And this naturally brings us to true revenue sources. Real businesses survive brutal bear markets by relying on tangible, actual revenue. We're talking about protocol fees, SaaS subscriptions for pro analytics, NFT royalties, and treasury yield on stablecoins. If your only way to keep the lights on is hoping the speculative price of your token goes up, well, you don't actually have a business model. You have a ticking time bomb.
Which leads perfectly to this absolutely brilliant quote from the source material. Token price equals marketing. Fees equal business. It's punchy, it's direct, and it perfectly summarizes the core philosophy of sustainable Web3 growth. The token can act as a really powerful magnet to get people in the door, but the fees and the real-world utility are what actually build a lasting company. So, I want to end this explainer by leaving you with one final provocative question to genuinely challenge your own business models. If your token drops 90% tomorrow, do you still have a business? If the answer is no, then it's probably time to go back to the drawing board, focus on your true fans, and build some real utility. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep building out there, and I will see you next time.